Yes, Your Honor. The people call Officer Jacob Lieb.
Okay. All right, officer, raise your right hand. You solemnly swear affirm under penalties of perjury that the testimony you'll give in these proceedings will be the whole truth, so help you God.
I do.
Okay, you may proceed. Is L-E-I-B?
L-I-E-B.
L-I-E-B. My apologies.
Good afternoon. Could you please state your name for the record?
Officer Jacob Lieb.
Mr. Lieb, where do you work?
I work in Brownstown Township as a police officer on patrol.
How long have you been employed there?
I've been employed at Brownstown for just under 2 years. I've been a police officer for 9 years.
What are your roles and responsibilities in this capacity?
As of right now, I'm a patrol officer on night shift in the Brownstown Township.
Were you working in this capacity on April 10th, 2024?
I was, yes.
And what were you doing that day?
Everything that would entail a normal night shift on patrol, answering calls for service, more specifically.
Could you just move up closer to that microphone and keep your voice up a little bit, please? Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Could you repeat the answer just because it was a little low?
I was answering calls for service most of the night, including the call that we received.
Okay, and you indicated a call was received. Do you recall who that call was received from?
From our dispatched me to the Brownstown Police Department station's lobby.
Were you in the lobby at that time?
I was not. I responded there.
And when you responded, did you make contact with anybody?
I did. I'm in contact with our victim in this case, Chantel Sadarsky, if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
And
the courtroom opens with Officer Jacob Lieb taking the stand, sworn in under oath to deliver truthful testimony. The prosecutor begins by establishing his background, a patrol officer with nearly a decade of experience, currently serving in Brownstown Township. His tone is calm, deliberate, and professional. He recounts the night of April 10th, 2024, describing a typical night shift interrupted by a call to the station lobby. There, he encountered a visibly upset woman named Chantel Sadarsky, reporting a domestic altercation involving her husband. Every word sets the stage for a deeper look into how the incident unfolded and how both sides would soon tell very different stories.
What happened when she was there?
So we were dispatched there in regards to a domestic violence complaint. I made contact with Chantel. She informed me that she had gotten into an altercation with her husband.
Objecting at your side.
Any response?
I can withdraw the question. We can
I'll
strike what
sustain,
you said
you can
about.
rephrase. How's
Yes.
that?
Well, I had asked what happened when she was there.
And he started to say what she told him.
Yeah, so we
So-
can, what he said before that should be,
Well, that will remain on the record, but anything, he didn't really answer it. He just started and she said, and then he objected and I said, I'll sustain it. So you can rephrase your question if you'd like.
okay, I can rephrase the question. That's okay. When she arrived, what was her demeanor like?
She appeared upset.
And did you make a report based off of, or did you make a report that night?
I did, yes.
And
As Officer Lieb testifies, the prosecution builds its timeline. Chantel Sadarsky arrived at the police station late that night, emotional and shaken. Lieb recounts that dispatch sent him to the lobby, where she reported an argument with her husband that escalated into a domestic violence complaint. He speaks with measured professionalism, careful to avoid hearsay as the judge sustains objections and asks questions to clarify the record. Lieb explains that he documented the incident in full, activated his body-worn camera, and filed a detailed report. It's clear that this early stage of testimony is about credibility, both of the officer's documentation and of the account he received from the alleged victim. Over.
was your body cam on and functioning that night?
It was.
Did anything else happen that night?
I interviewed the female, Chantel. I also interviewed the other party involved, Andrew. They both completed witness statements, and I typed a report based off both of their stories.
I don't mean to interject, but one thing I want to say, Mr. Rockine, you brought the thumb drive with you.
I had it, yes, Your Honor.
So you're just going to retain that. We're just going to know that that's the thumb drive. The exhibits go back to you, but
Yes, sir.
I remembered I told you to bring it today, and
Yes, and I have it.
okay. So that's the way we'll play that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And I'm just trying to recall. Okay. And did anything else happen after those interviews?
No, I typed my report and submitted it to the Detective Bureau for further investigation.
Okay. Just one moment.
The courtroom shifts focus to body cam footage, a critical tool in verifying every claim. Officer Lieb confirms that his camera was recording during all interactions that night. The prosecution emphasizes procedure, accurate reporting, recording, and submission of evidence. Each small question serves a larger purpose, showing the officer as methodical and reliable. He explains how he interviewed both Chantel and her husband, collected written statements, and turned the report over to detectives. This segment establishes a chain of evidence, proving that the system worked as intended. But what appears routine now will soon become central to the defense's challenge of accuracy, omission, and memory under pressure.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Cross.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for opening the door for me as I walked into the courthouse. I appreciate that. I appreciated that courtesy.
You're welcome.
Officer Lieb, let me, it's pronounced Lieb, correct?
Correct.
And you're in plain clothes, but you have a badge on. So are you a detective now or?
Nope, this is my uniform for court today.
Yes, sir. I'm going to touch on a few different areas and try to get through them as quickly as I can. If I ask a question that's confusing, you just tell me. All right?
Okay.
Now, your answers, have to be verbal. So they have to be out loud as opposed to a nod or a shake of the head. You understand that?
Yes.
You wrote a report in this case, yes?
Yes.
I presume at some point you've looked at it before you actually submitted it? Yes. And I presume that at some point you looked at it before testifying today?
Yes.
You reviewed it today in the prosecutor's conference room?
I did, yes.
Now, there are certain things.
When cross-examination begins, the defense attorney wastes no time challenging Officer Lieb's recollection and methods. The courtroom tone changes. Calm professionalism turns to sharp precision. The attorney thanks the officer courteously before dissecting his report line by line. Did he review it? Did he miss anything? Was every detail complete and accurate? Each question reinforces a subtle doubt. Even seasoned officers can overlook details. Lieb maintains composure, confirming that his report was thorough and reviewed before submission. Yet the defense's strategy is clear. Plant seeds that his documentation may have left out important context, or that his body cam review before testifying might not have been as recent or comprehensive as he implied.
About report writing, I just want to kind of go through those relatively quickly. There's a purpose in preparing reports, yes?
Yes.
The purpose is to memorialize things that occurred.
Yes.
You try to write it as when things are still fresh in your mind.
Yes.
You try to document things that are relevant and important. Yes. And you're trained when you write a report to include the relevant and important facts.
Yes.
And you're trained to write an accurate and complete report. Is that true?
Yes.
And when you're satisfied, and when I started, officers actually wrote reports, but now you guys type them out. Yes?
Yes.
And so when you start typing your report and you finish typing it, you're able to review it. And when you're satisfied that you've discharged your duty to prepare an accurate, complete, and reliable report, you then print it and submit it as your official report in the case. Am I correct?
Yes.
And you did that in this case?
I did, yes.
As the defense presses on, the cross-examination zeroes in on what wasn't written in the report. The attorney highlights omissions. No mention of a gun being pointed, no gestures describing it near the victim's neck. Each gap becomes ammunition. Officer Lieb calmly agrees that those statements do not appear in his report, and that Chantel herself said the weapon was never aimed at her. It's a pivotal moment. What began as a domestic violence claim now appears far less clear-cut. Through these careful admissions, the defense reframes the narrative from one of potential violence to one of exaggeration or misunderstanding, showing how a single missing sentence can shift the perception of an entire case.
You also submitted body camera in this case, am I correct?
Yes.
Now, you had body camera for when Ms. Scardarossi was your original encounter with her in the lobby of the police station?
That's correct, yes.
You have a subsequent body camera with her when you exit to hand her a blank written statement or a statement to fill out?
I would imagine is that on the same body camera?
Well, do you recall if it's the same body camera or not?
If you said subsequent, so I just wanted to clarify. It should be my same body camera, yes.
Yeah, but is it a different actual recording? Or don't you know?
I don't recall.
You actually then made a third recording where you recorded a telephone interaction with Ms. Scardarossi, yes?
Yes.
Objection. He was testifying.
He's asking a question. He's asking a question, leading question. It's okay. It's cross overruled.
Yes?
Yes.
And then you were wearing body camera when you actually went out and spoke with Ms.
The defense pivots from evidence to credibility. Officer Lieb is asked whether he verified any of Chantel's statements, her employment, her ownership of a company, her accuracy about small details. Each question aims to expose investigative shortcuts. The attorney's tone suggests that the officer took her words at face value without checking for corroboration. The prosecution objects several times, calling the questions irrelevant, but the rhythm of cross-examination continues. The goal is clear: suggest bias, even subtly. By emphasizing what Lieb didn't do, from database checks to background verification, the defense paints a picture of an investigation built more on assumption than independent fact-finding.
Ms. Scardarossi.
Yes, that's correct.
You reviewed your body camera before testifying today?
I did, yes.
How many different body camera did you review before testifying today?
Just myself.
Just your own?
My own.
The ones that I just referred to?
Yes.
Lobby interaction with Ms. Scardarossi? Yes?
Yes.
Body camera, where you handed her a witness statement to fill out?
If that was included in my body camera, I watched my own body camera from the entirety of the interview in the lobby with Ms. Chantel Scardarossi.
I'm just trying to.
In other words, what you're telling us, you didn't see on that body cam you handing her a statement to fill out?
That's what I'm asking you. I don't know my next question, Judge.
Is that what you're telling us?
I believe. Can you rephrase the question? I'm trying to clarify. I watched my body camera in its entirety from my interaction with Chantel.
I understand.
The cross-examination digs deeper into the heart of the dispute: consent and access. The attorney asks about whether Chantel had permission to take or open her husband's phone, emphasizing her own words: "There's no way he'd ever give me the code while he's awake." The courtroom feels the weight of that statement. It implies deliberate intrusion, not shared property. Objections arise, citing calls for a legal conclusion, but the defense's point lands. This line of questioning isn't about digital access, it's about intent. Was this a case of self-protection or one of revenge? The concept of lack of consent transforms a marital argument into potential evidence tampering or privacy violation.
The end of your body camera, what was the last thing that you observed on your body camera with Ms. Scardarossi?
I don't recall.
You just watched it.
I didn't just watch it. I watched it when I was preparing for this case. It was not just a second ago. I don't recall what my last interaction was.
How long ago did you prepare for testifying today by watching your body camera?
I reviewed my body camera footage on Sunday night while I was working.
All right. So I'm going to ask the same question the judge asked. When you reviewed your body camera, did you see you handing Ms. Scardarossi a witness statement to fill out?
I do not recall. I did have her fill one out.
Did you see on your body camera you handing Ms. Scardarossi a victim notification card?
Objection, Your Honor. Asked and answered.
Yeah, I think it is.
It's a different question.
Wow.
There's a purpose to this last question, if you let me ask it. And saying goodbye to her, like watching her leave the station.
If that was the last interaction, I don't recall.
By the end of the cross-examination, the defense has built a compelling web of contradictions. Officer Lieb admits that Chantel never mentioned disabling home cameras, yet later evidence showed they were turned off. She never disclosed details about the ring system, but her husband provided footage contradicting her claims. The officer's phone call to Chantel, recorded on body cam, captures his follow-up questions as inconsistencies mount. What started as a straightforward domestic violence complaint now feels more complex, a clash of narratives, motives, and memory. As the courtroom quiets, the judge's gavel signals a pause, but the real battle over credibility and truth has only just begun.
If she was walking away, or what my last interaction was, I would have handed her a victim rights card with the report number.
I'm just asking if you saw that on your video.
I don't recall.
Preparing. And how about, did you see when you were watching your videos in preparation for testifying today, your interview or your phone call with Ms. Scardarossi that was on speakerphone?
I did see that, yes.
And you saw that in preparation for today?
Yes.
In your police report, you never wrote that Ms. Scardarossi pointed, or that Mr. Scardarossi pointed the barrel of the gun at Mrs. Scardarossi's neck. Am I correct?
That's correct. I did not write that.
You never wrote that Mrs. Scardarossi demonstrated with her finger to her neck the barrel of the gun pointed at her. Am I correct?
Can you rephrase the question?
Yes. You never wrote in your report that Mrs. Scardarossi demonstrated the barrel of the gun pointed at her neck. Am I correct?
That's correct.
In fact, Mrs. Scardarossi told you that the gun was never pointed at her. Am I correct?
You are correct.
And in your report, you wrote, Chantel noted that Andrew kept the handgun in the holster during this incident and never pointed the firearm directly at her. Isn't that what you wrote in your report?
That is correct.
One of the things that you do as a police officer is, of course, when you interview witnesses, you're trying to get information, right?
Correct.
And you're also trying to assess credibility, right?
Correct.
And you pay attention to whether a witness's story changes. Am I correct?
Correct.
And where the witness changes stories or changes the narrative, that could be evidence that the witness is not being truthful.
It could be, correct.
You weren't told, as your report reflects and as you testified a moment ago, that Mr. Scardarossi ever had the barrel of the gun pointed to Mrs. Scardarossi's neck. Am I correct?
You are correct.
You would agree that the neck and the head are two different parts of the body.
That's correct.
Pointed to the neck is different than next to the head, correct?
Correct.
Had the gun been pointed, or had Mrs. Scardarossi at any point said the gun was in any way pointed at her, head, neck, chest, anywhere, you would have noted that in your report. Am I right?
That's correct.
That's an important detail.
That is, yes.
And she never told you that.
She did not know.
Now, Mrs. Scatarassi, well, strike that. You're aware that Mr. Scatarassi owns a company. Are you aware of that?
They may have mentioned it on scene. I don't know what the company would be, the name of the company or any of their roles in the company.
Well, one way to assess a witness's credibility, particularly in a case like this, is to attempt to corroborate what a witness tells you, right?
Correct.
So in the interview, Mrs. Scatarassi says that she owns a company. Correct?
I don't recall if she says she owns it or she works there or they own it together. I don't recall.
Did you do any research to attempt to evaluate that?
No.
Did you do any checks on Lara or on a state corporate website to see if that's true?
I did not know.
So you don't know if she was lying to you or misrepresenting who owned the company when she interviewed
Objection,
you?
Your Honor. All of this is irrelevant at this point, whether he did the Lara search and whether or not she had
He's
spoken
already
about the business.
testified that he doesn't remember whether she said she owned it, he owned it, or they both owned it.
And I'm asking whether he did anything to determine whether or not
You
she
already
misrepresented
answered
that.
But then you said something about lying. Repeat your last question.
Certainly. You said, you didn't do anything to determine whether Mrs. Scatarassi was lying or misrepresenting her role in that company, did you? That's my question.
Okay, but he doesn't remember what she said. So I'm going to ask you to move on.
Okay.
That's not a proper question.
Okay, Ron. Now,